Durag Wisdom here, folks, and this is Earth Date Y2K 18.10.22. Can't believe it was just 15 days out. And here is what I have to put to you folks now. Pass it on, please. In the few days we have before our election, this mid-term election, the most important in our history. Is it our country, or is it going to be Trump's country? The quality of a country depends on the people who live in it. This quality is reflected in our leadership and in how we react to it. If we support a good leader, we become good people. But if we support an evil leader, we are just as evil. There is a saying in the Bible that one should never stand, it's in the book of Leviticus, by the way, that one should never stand by silently and let another person be injured. The writer of this passage understood that there is such a thing as collective guilt, that a humane society is made up of caring people who will not stand idly by while others are abused. A just and humane society is entitled to the blessings of a so-called almighty being. But an evil society, on the other hand, is entitled to nothing but its curses. They could not find, in the book of Genesis, 10 righteous people inside of Sodom and Gomorrah. So all of it had to be destroyed with all of its people. For they did not care about the suffering of others. In fact, they exacerbated this suffering to the extreme. So it had to be destroyed. Throughout human history, we have mainly failed this test of just and humane societies, since we have spent centuries murdering each other. I naively thought that with the election of Barack Obama, that our country, the USA, was on its way to healing itself and on its way to becoming a true, quote-unquote, beacon on the hill. But all of that hope vanished with the ascension of a Nazi, KKK, racist maggot to the highest office in our land in the name of traitor Trump. Most of us did not vote in the election that vomited this creep into our lives. Many of us had more important things to do than paying attention to the attack on our fragile democratic republic. Watching Dancing with the Stars, The Bachelorette, and moronic game shows, except for Jeopardy, was the more important thing to do. In the meantime, a fascist traitorous creep accidentally was elected to run our country by Vladimir Putin with the goal, and he's following this Vladimir's goal to the letter, to destroy everything our country stands for. And what is worse is that in the eyes of the world, the citizens of our great nation are just as guilty of negligence as the creep that we elected. Group responsibility, group guilt. We have lost our standing in the world as being a place of justice, humanity, and dignity. I'm going to repeat that. We have lost our standing in the world as being a place of justice, humanity, and dignity. Is this true? With the election of traitor Trump, are we all in fact the same kind of evil trash that he is? We have a chance to prove otherwise in a mere 15 days to our mid-year election. For it will be on that day that we repent of the evil of apathy and right the wrong that we caused when we failed to vote to keep an evil creep and his party out of our lives. So consider this. What kind of country do we want? Our country or Trump country? Whatever happens to our country afterwards, after Election Day, will not be the fault of an evil Trump dictator. It will be our fault, the citizens of this great land, for standing idly by and allowing totalitarian fascism to reign supreme, to stand idly by while something gets destroyed. Is it going to be our country, or is it going to be Trump country? Please, as you hear these questions, answer yes or no. 1. Do you want Traitor Trump and his executive branch to continue unchecked? 2. Do you agree that Trump should not have to show his tax returns nor give up any of his private holdings? 3. Is it okay by you that Trump separates children from their parents, ruins their childhood, and locks them up in concentration detention camps? Separate from their parents. Do you agree with that? 4. Is it okay for Trump to sell out our pristine public lands to oil, gas, and coal companies? Is it okay that Trump is getting rid of regulations allowing corporations to pollute our water, land, our air? Like they did in Flint, like the Republican Party did in Flint, Michigan, poisoning the water, hurting children. 5. Do you enjoy the appointment of sexual assaulter and right-wing culture warrior Brett Kavanaugh to our Supreme Court? 6. Do you agree with the notion of voter suppression, gerrymandering, and Citizens United? It's going on in Georgia, it's going on in North Dakota, it's going on in Texas. 7. Do you believe that journalists should be physically attacked and even murdered? 8. Do you believe that a woman has no right to control her own body? 9. Do you believe that LGBTQ folks have no right to human rights? 10. Do you believe in the corrupt swamp that Trump has working for him? 11. Do you believe that the riot and the death in Charlottesville was caused by bad people on both sides? 12. Should Traitor Trump have moved the American embassy to Jerusalem? 13. Should Traitor Trump continue in his support for vicious dictators around the world? And 14. And do you believe that religious extremists should have control over our lives? If you answered yes to all the above questions, you are sadly a Trumpist scumbag who has no place living in our free and open country that you want to destroy. I plead with all who answered no to the above to get out and vote in 15 days, because your life, literally, and the life of our free country literally depends on your active voting participation. So what's it going to be? 15 days from the midterms, is it going to be our country or Trump country?